So first, I'm going to overview this week 14, this week's project finalizing part. So we're going to make the final presentation video as a second project, um, the presentation. So before that, you're going to make complete final PDF of the design slide, which will include mission statement, design brief, site analysis. You guys are already done. Inspiration sketches, basic plan, which is simple sketches with the elevation or information, your memo and notes. And you did already the branding part with the merchandises and the rendering elevation. You can also try to use the foam core prototype method. Design brief and already done. Picture of physical model. You can do that by this digitized model too. And material and color lighting palette and of the interactive space. So this thing somebody might confused. This is not about your prototype model. This is about actual space. So for example, the material, you have the dividers and walls or the dancing stages, etc. You can say that MDF or lighting, colorful LED lights, or color wise you can use your festival theme color palette. So this information is about actual festival. An additional collateral is this is the spiral festival poster, invitation, mobile app for the users or visitors who visited the festival. They could engage to the certain activities. And festival map, you don't have to include this, but some of you are developing minimum activity space and you want to locate those areas in your festival space in the entire map, and you can develop simple information style of the map and put the key marks, and then this is the activity, certain activity areas, and etc. And mock projection mapping and video montage part. This is the same method we've done with the project first. You're going to apply the free video or MP4 file onto your environmental image with your model, so which is photo montage and video montage. So all that should be in a one PDF file in a smaller size. Is not shouldn't be like 2 gigabyte or 3 gigabyte, and you can have the video montage part uploaded into the free domain or somewhere or YouTube, and put the link into the PDF design slide. So that way I or other people could access to your video montage. Final video presentation. I know that only few people did mid presentation video recording, but you all need to do this, otherwise I cannot give you the final grade. This is the mandatory. By using the QuickTime Player, which is currently I'm using now, 10 to 15 minutes long, and you don't have to go on and on and on. You don't have to go too detail. You can briefly introduce your festival and audience and target visitors and festival brandings, color palettes and typography, typefaces, merchandises, including the t-shirts or some souvenirs, or staff the t-shirts or badges, admission bracelets. That part is also done. I know many of you guys did already. And interactive space part, you guys have been doing this for 2 weeks now. Hopefully I can see something by tomorrow so I can give you the comment. So include those all in your PDF and present them during your video recording. So here's the Adobe Dimension tutorials that I'm going to give you guys very briefly later. So there are 2 links here you can click and check, and these tutorials are very simple, and you can simply, or like in 5 minutes, you can actually use the Adobe Dimension very quickly. Important thing is you cannot really import your existing model picture or anything like that, but you can use it as a reference. So for example, you made this the Trader Joe booth shaped, this box shaped space, and you want to make this from Adobe Dimension, and you can import this image to Adobe Dimension, and on top of this image you can trace this the structure shapes. And then later you can also apply the background image, which is environmental image, the festival, the location images as a background. So the Adobe Dimension will give you really nice lighting and shade effect. There's also matching tool that your model could have that the similar color or similar lighting effect onto your model. Here are 2 links you can check. There are also the works done by the past students, so you can see how they done with their final presentation. So these are pretty similar concept that you guys doing. As you see, the design slide has very cohesive and consistent design page layout, and the sketches doesn't have the sketchbook square like line. You should definitely remove that line so your sketch drawing is completely embedded onto the page. These are very nicely done, and this is the prototype and simple 3D mock-up from the Illustrator, and site analysis and graphic painters, and this is the rendering view. As you see, not many people done amazing job. Just we're asking for just photo montage level of work for the final the rendering view. Okay, let's move on to the Adobe Dimension. And about Adobe Dimension very quickly. What you see is now is Adobe Photoshop view. By using the rendering view done from Adobe Dimension, we're going to go over this one by one. Before we get into this, I'm going to check and show you really cool posting from Frame magazine website, which I love so much. So this is the posting back in 2019 August, right before the pandemic, I guess. They had a design festival in London, their annual festival, And as you see the rendering view, this is not the real photo. This is completely done from software like SketchUp or um, other, the 3D tools. And you see this view. I cannot believe this is done by the professional designer. It looks very amateur, like it's just not great looking. And this one as well. This is certainly proposer proposer design done in an earlier stage of their design development. So it just still feels a little less professional. Anyway, the reason why I'm showing you this page is you guys are doing really good, almost better than these professional designers. So please have a confidence and be confident about what you're doing and what you've done. You can do it. Look at this. The human figures are very animation. Maybe they made this as animation type. This is one of the screenshot from the moving image. Moving the scenes, so that they had to use the animation style, like, but still. I had a link from to the content, so you can check this later. There are more festivals done in the past. You can check. I simply search festival from search bar, so I can find more design related to festival. Always great to check this kind of reference, so compare your work, and you can also get some inspirations or get a confidence by looking at the less professionally done project done by professional designer. Okay, let's move on to the Adobe Dimension. Not the beginning of that work process. This is almost mid-final image, rendering image of my draft model. So as you see, I only use 4 shapes by using these default options. I'm going to go over this one by one. First, on the left side, these are the toolbox. You can select, or a magic wand, or a sampler, orbit tool, which will make you rotate your models in perspective. And this is panning tool, pen. So you can move around here without changing the perspectives. And dolly tool moves the model back and forth, so it only changes the distance from the viewer. And this is the zoom in, out. It's only make the size of the canvas bigger or smaller. It doesn't affect your model size. And this is the hand tool, but sometimes it works and doesn't work. It's a little buggy, but that's fine. So I'm going to go with the new file. Once you open file and new, command new, you'll see this empty canvas in perspective. There's X and Y, Z axis. Click one of the simple shapes that it will automatically generate just default size of your object on the canvas. And once you click, while you're selecting the select tool, you will see this colorful indication bars. Their green is Y, as you see this indicator in the bottom left, and blue is Z, and red is X. You don't have to memorize all this. The only thing you wanna remember is the different tool by this different shape of this icon. Square icon is scale, and dot or circle is rotating, and arrow is moving tool. So depending on the color, depending on the shape of the icon, you can change or move or rotate. Those are three things you can do possibly from this Adobe Dimension. You can also use this the custom menu selection bar here. So as you see, when you move your cursor on top of certain menu, and you will see this little arrow left and right, and which means you click and you can change, shift all these numbers without putting specific numbers. I click the scale X and Y as well, and Z. And rotation as well, X, Y, Z. Position, you can move X, axis, Y axis. Y is up and down mostly. Z. So you can adjust all this while you're using this cursor or this custom menu bar. Important thing is you have to click your object in order to work. And as you see, this image, the model is not on the floor. So you go to actions, and there's the icon here, move to ground. You can click it and it goes down. And you can also move up again and down. So remember this square as a scale, and dot, circle as rotate, and arrow as a move. So depending on where you wish, which part you want to change and move, you can click and change. You can also go back, especially position part, set as 0 and everything, and there'll be a 90-degree angle over that. So since we're making some structures, I'm going to show you how to make very simple structure. So I'm going to make just one simple pole, and click option clicking, and while clicking shift key same time, you can duplicate your object or select multiple objects and duplicate same time. You can also use plain floor. This is just flat, there are no dimensionality here. remember this cursor spare button is for the scale. Or you can click and move whole thing freely too. So here I made only 4 poles, and if I wish to make multiple poles duplicated, then select them all, like simply select, like what you do for selection in any Adobe suite, and select them all. There's a scene which is somewhat like a layer kind of menu. You can make them as the group as well, or you don't have to group, or select them all. Now I'm going to duplicate, move some of them. I'm making very random things right now in order to explain all these tools. Now I'm going to show you how to apply the texture onto your model. So under left bar, under texture or material menu, there's so many options that you can choose. You don't see anything related to your project, then you can purchase from Adobe website, but I don't see that you need anything other than these materials shown in this program. So let me click metal, and for this we click plastic, this light oak, the last one to see glossy or laser. And from your working view, you cannot really estimate and envision how the effect will look like. And go to this on top menu bar here and show and hide render view. You can actually briefly see, like they were previewing your render view. It's a little foggy, but you can see the material difference here. Again, you can also go back to making your model, finishing up your model. And I'm going to make a wall. So this plane and cube are different. Cube is three-dimensional object, and plane is just plain two-dimensional one. So you cannot really make that dimensionalize. As you see, if I can only make it up and down move, and I cannot really make it dimensionalize here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to make a thin panner by using this cube. So made a panner, and I'm going to rotate Z by clicking Shift key, and I can make it 90-degree angle. By clicking arrow, I'm going to move it up. And I'm going to rotate this. And I'm going to move this behind these poles. And I want to continue this wall to be cover the back of all these poles. So I'm going to move this pole again 90-degree by clicking Shift key. And I cannot really see if this is 90-degree, but I'll find out. and going to make it wider. So when you are having this render preview on, then your the performance might be very slow. So I'm going to turn off this preview. So now I made a back wall. I can also make this wall down on the ground. These are on the ground. Okay, it actually looked like a flooding, but it should be right. And now I'm going to use one of abstract shape that I can make outdoor shape here and there, and duplicate. You can also duplicate your object by clicking this duplicate button. Now I'm going to put it in the floor a little bit, submerge down in the ground, under the ground, so it almost looks like the arch shape. Now I can see the 360-degree view, so anything, not on the in line or aligned. So these are the only function that I feel like I want to have in this Adobe Dimension will be the Align and Pathfinder tool. They don't have that tool here. Could have been amazing that, if we can subtract some of the shape, so we can make a window or door, or add shape. We can combine complicated shape. You can do that from SketchUp, so that's different. The reason why I like Adobe Dimension is if you like to use your rendering effect really quickly, you don't have to use a SketchUp. I mean, SketchUp might really offer that kind of fast function, but Dimension, I find that it's very intuitive, and it's almost like a Illustrator program like. So I can always adjust, and it doesn't take up too much of your computer capacity, so it doesn't, while you're working, it doesn't slow your computer. So now let's say this is it, and I'm going to see the render view actually. So go to render. You see top view, that bar here, home button and design and render. You can always go back to design after this, and you make the I'll make a park and render, and you can actually see how it looks like a magic here. So this is before we setting up the light, putting any background image. So it just render shot quickly. So let me go back to the design board again, and we're going to add lighting and background. So I'm going to set really nice perspective view that I want to have in my rendering view. So by using this orbit tool, you can change the perspective angle, the perfect angle. You can also see the underground. I didn't know that. I'm going to make it more like eye level. And pen tool, so I can make it my model or as fixture in the center. So now I'm going to add my background environmental image. So let's say this structure located in the Central Park. I found one of the Central Park image from online. So let me put one of the images here. So the image isn't really great quality, and second, the background image is too colorful, so I'm a little worried that my structure might look a little bit odd. For some reason, this pole look like tilted. Yes, that's right. So the position is odd, and I can always make them 0, make it straight. And good thing about this Adobe Dimension is you can apply your background image so that while you're still working on your model shapes or model positions. That's what I like about this Adobe Dimension. It's a little bit buggy still. They're still developing. So as you heard that Adobe Illustrator used to have the 3D tool, but they try to get rid of that, and they try to develop this Adobe Dimension, and for Surface they could actually charge to the customers. Okay, this gets a little bit difficult. I don't want to spend too much time on this. You guys could explore a little bit more, because I know many of you try to wrap up the project. So I did select them all and move everything, try to put it in the nice spot. You can move it all like this, or by using the orbit tool I can rotate them and make a perfect perspective and angle. So you see this little grid line and slight lines on the background of your model, my model. So you can perfectly make your perspective fitting into your background setting. So now I feel like this might be good perspective. You can also gauge this perspective by looking at the building on your background image. So how the building has perspective shape. So they look like almost front view, or a little bit not to look down, like from looking at top like plan eye level view. So I made this model view as plain eye level view. And using the pen tool, I'm going to move this without changing the perspective. I didn't memorize all this tool and what it does and things like that. But you know, you guys, as you do always, just explore and navigate all these tools, and you instantly can make it work. 5-minute tutorial video will help us make this rendering view in 10 minutes. So now I'm going to go to this lighting section. So there are many lighting sections, but I would go, since the sunlight, because this is outdoor setting, there are more specific style of lighting under this option. But let me check at sunlight and Topanga forest. So the forest effect will give little shade and from the trees, and so that's actually really cool effect. So let me use that too. Now I'm going to render it so that I can export this rendering image to my Photoshop, so I can put more detailed graphics and human figures, stuff like that. But it's already looking pretty good. I'm going to go to render, and I'm going to make it name, export file name as Park1. I'm going to make it as a low. I'm not gonna use this for the nice big poster print. And click Photoshop file and make sure that where you are save. I normally save in the desktop. So now my rendering is in the progress. This software, this Adobe Dimension is not high functioning rendering software, but it takes a little bit of your computer capacity. So as you've seen that there's like bars here, we still have to wait a couple minutes depending on the file size you are saving. So this is done. So that probably the saved file is in my wherever the desktop. So without closing my working document, I'm going to try to use my rendering view to the Photoshop format. So the important, well, you can save it and you can open it again, but I don't think that will affect too much to your computer capacity or performance. So let me open Park1 Photoshop. So once you open it, you see that there are different layers already automatically made from Adobe Dimension. So that's very good thing about Adobe Dimension 2 versus SketchUp. The Adobe, of course, they're the product from the same Adobe company. They make it more, mutual to this two software, those two tools. So you can separately work on this component. Of course, you can separate this model from your background image you already apply from Adobe Dimension. And you can even work a little bit more on the lightings or color intensity, all that. Now let's add one human figure. So probably having the download, and And I found this image from online, and I'm going to move him to the top of everything. This function something that I need to work on. Alright. So he's now very big. So by clicking Command T, we're going to transform him scale down. When you scale the human figure, please try not to distort him, the human, like fatter or taller or tinier. So when you select the transform key or button, and you go to the corner side on the right square, and you see this diagonal shaped arrow, and it will make proportionally scalable. So let me put him near arch. So as you see, I would the height of the structure might be almost like 20 feet or 18 feet, something like that. So making the rendering view should look like almost realistic. In order to make your realistic rendering is I'm sorry, your human figure should look very realistically scaled. So if you made your human is too big or fattier or taller, something weird shape, I mean, it does still looking very realistic, but still feeling a little odd. And you can add more people here too. So now I add one person here. And you can also add his shadow on the floor, on the grass, or the structure, reflection, all that. You can go more details. But I know that you guys know how to do it very well. So let me skip that part. And now we're going to add one video clip on this, or video clip or something like graphic from festival. So let me add video first. Oh, important thing is you gotta create video from animation tool. So set this as a 5-second, and I'm going to see this a little bit smaller scale. Sorry, it's very late in the night, and I've been sick a little while, and my condition isn't 100%, but I hope you guys understand. I cannot really see that. Oh, okay, here you go. And now I'm going to add my video clip on top of my model. this is city view. I thought that this is such a great contrast movie clip or moving image that could be projected onto one of this structure in the park. We've done this from the first project, but I wanted to just go over again. Some of you still struggling to use this kind of stuff. So apply it onto your structure somewhere. I'm going to change the opacity as a little bit lighter so I can see my structure, see through this moving image. So that I can shape it better. And click the Command T. And by clicking Command key, you can actually change the shape better. Or perspective, or angle, or tilted. Even video clip. So now I did apply this image or video clip onto this wall. And next, this video clip is very long compared to my image length, the duration from this animation tool. So let me select them all by clicking. You can also adjust the duration of your video clip. Let me do this as just 12 seconds. And then keep all these layers in the same length so you don't get to see the empty blank scene in the last video clip or in the end of your video clip. So let's see the preview. Okay, it looks like a moving, and now I'm going to change my video opacity, and I can also change lightings or effect from this filter, something more noticeable. Okay, looks like something. Funny thing is, while I was working on this, the shape, and I did move a little bit of the human figure and stuff, and it also recorded all that. Okay. Let me move him in front of this video. So important thing is your video should be in a certain order so that your figure should come forward and the video goes behind, and your the structure goes behind of the projection image or moving image. Okay, I see what's the problem. This additional layer didn't have the same length of the clip, so it made that little bit of icky movement. Let's move everything for a second. So now we made a rendering and moving image projection mapping. So this is a video montage of your festival interactive space. So mine is not technically the interactive space, but something, pretend like this came from the festival. Hope you guys enjoyed the Adobe Dimension really brief quick tutorial video, and let me know if you have any question, and I will comment your assignment after Monday so we can talk individually. Bye bye.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the mid presentation, and this is visual identity system. Okay. So my prototype, I made a prototype with paper, a Bristol paper, and it's a little bit small, but as you see, is a prototype, so I made it quite simple. But I took inspiration from the Halo in Formula One, the car, to design the entrance, and I created a ticket booth next to it. But implementing the original design ticket booth is in reality proved to be too challenging, so I decided to modify it and create with a basic design. So basically, I designed it very simple, like a just rectangle. This ticket booth got inspired from the New York Metro, like the entrance. And this is the poster that I made it for this visual identity. So as you can see, there's a lot of like red, blue, green lines and halo. When filming a car passing by with long exposure with your camera, I got inspired from there. So like when you take a long exposure in the streets and when the car's passing, you can see there's a lot of lights. Like I got inspired from by the after image of the remaining light, and I also wore a mock-up on t-shirt and cups too. So the first one and the second are the after image of the remaining lights, and I put the F1 and the informations, the date and the time, and the place as well. And the third one is the halo. It's a Red Bull halo because there's no Red Bull sign, but this is actual the Red Bull Formula One car's halo. And I put it there because my festival entrance is halo, and it's one of the like identity of this festival, the halo. So I put it right over there. You can see I kind of give a hierarchy. So you can see the F1 first, and then I made the Italy with strokes to focus on there, and then the date and the time and the place as well, and the underneath the F1 and halo, and the image was really strong, so I put it just right over there. And this is the logo mock-ups that I made. It's a black t-shirt, but I put the red lines in F1. I changed the F1 letter into strokes because when I did it, it was too strong, so I didn't want the F1 like focused. I wanted to make the lines after image of the remaining lights like more focused on the t-shirt, so I did it like that. And the cups as well, I made it with two different styles, as one from the poster and one from the long exposure light. And I put a mock-up on a poster. As you can see, um, this street kind of, I don't know, but it kind of gave it a feeling of Italy, a quiet place of Italy. But F1 is really like noisy and like shouting place. So I wanted to do it like opposite way. So I found this mock-up and I put it over there. And I also put it's like a New York street, and if I put it right there, you can see it's really focused. Uh, like the big halo, and then the date and time. I can see it very clear. And the third is like, I don't know exactly, but I think it's a metro, like subway station. So I placed it right over there to make a poster on. And this is it. Thank you.
So my project is about Dragon Boat Festival. Design brief. The Dragon Boat Festival, also known as Duanwu Festival, is a traditional Chinese holiday with a history of over 2,000 years. It is celebrated on the 5th day of the 5th month of the lunar calendar, and people commemorate it by eating zongzi, which is sticky rice dumpling, and participating in dragon boat race. By hosting traditional events, individuals can acquire a deeper understanding of traditional culture while actively engaging in these activities, facilitating a fusion of history and the contemporary world. And this is my visual identity system. Brand logo. The logo features a combination of red and green colors. The green represents the trays, symbolizing the dragon boat made from trays, while the red represents versatility. The design of the logo is a reflection of the name Dragon Boat. I use white, orange, blue, red, green as my color palette. Typography. Rough Battle. Used for logo text design. The texture of the brush blends seamlessly with the essence of Chinese traditional festivals. Ovelica (OTF) used for headlines and body copy. Black condensed size 37 for headline. Medium condensed size 20 for body copy. Merchandise. So starting from the left to right, we have bags, t-shirts, dragon boat toy, ID card, water bottle, and tickets. On the left side, there is a poster, and on the right side, it's a festival banner in the street. The name of the festival is on the center of the poster, and the name and the address is on the lower bottom of the poster. The poster used dragon boat as the main element. There's 4 different dragon boats on the poster, which represents dragon boat race. And the last page is festival crews or visitors wearing brands t-shirts.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and for this project, I did mines on the Chinatown Night Market, which currently only runs in the summer, the first of every Fridays. And the Chinatown Night Market, it founded its start in 2021, and it was a means to help the Asian community. And this was because we all know, like, COVID-19 pandemic, it took a hard hit on our Asian community there was a lot of fear about going out, especially at night, even in our own neighborhoods, and using public spaces because of pre-assumed association with issues related to COVID-19. And this was a means to celebrate as a way for the community to heal and to also be supportive of each other, especially since all this happened. And so the company that founded this program is called Think Chinatown, and they are a nonprofit organization that supports Manhattan's Chinatown specifically and its community. And they have sponsors such as Citizens, Asian Americans of Equality, Fried Frank, Leroy Street Studios, and others as well. And the location where it takes place is Forsyth Plaza. You might know of it as the entries at Strategic Way, where the Manhattan Bridge is on the Manhattan side. So that's where the location is. And so this festival type would be for promoting neighborhoods, culture, brands, and hobbies. And I didn't explain what the festival is. So the festival, it's a open air cultural festival where it's based off on Chinatown arts, music, and food vendors. So there are traditional folk arts and crafts, local food vendors from the stores around Chinatown, and they participate in this festival. And right now they are growing they just keep growing their list of vendors. So on the bottom is these are some images from last year's event. So that's like a brief intro to my Chinatown market. So I talked a little bit about the history, why it was founded, and although they haven't been around for long yet, every year there's more and more, and these are some examples. So there's like paper cup portraits, sugar paintings, some local stores that partnership. So like Yumi Books, they do Asian. They highlight. There are a bookstore that highlights on immigrant stories. There's also a lot of food places and a lot of classics. So like the sponge cakes and Cantonese steamed rice cakes, etc. There's a lot of different foods. And so I started to look at competitors and what they do in different cities. So cities and countries. So in this case, I looked at the Chinatown Night Market in Sydney, Australia, and it's similar to the one here in New York. They present themselves as a festival that aims to reach out and teach more to the public about Asian culture, arts, and foods. So rather than like the make focus of supporting the community, is more of to like bring their community to others and have them experience Asian culture, arts, and foods. And so the pros of this festival is that they promote themselves as an individual festival event, meaning they have like a separate social media website that is solely for the Chinatown Night Market, which the New York City Chinatown Market does not. Think Chinatown promotes it along with a bunch of other projects that they also handle as well. So it's not an individual social media practice for them. And also a pros for the Sydney Night Market is that the language and tone they use is one of pride and support. They take pride in their culture's experience and put that into effect with their design and marketing of the events on Instagram. And for Chinatown Night Markets, it's more of catering to the community of Asians in New York City, and they focus more on our Asian community and creating a safe space for our celebrations. Another competitor research I also looked at was Brooklyn Night Market, and Brooklyn Night Market is an open air food and arts festival that celebrates the food and culture in New York City, with over 50 vendors producing dishes from all corners of the world. and they started a little bit later than the Chinatown Market in 2022, and currently are running their when I submitted this, they were running their second season, but it's already over. It was October 30th, and they present themselves as a more food-based festival and work together with the industry city to bring their events to life. So they're more about promoting neighborhood foods and cultures, especially with New York being such a melting pot and having so many different types of foods. And they wanted to bring that into this festival so that people can experience all different types of foods. So again, the pros, similar with the Sydney one, they promote themselves as an individual festival event. So they have their own social media and website that's solely just for Brooklyn Night Market. And their language and tone that they use is one that's bold and mouth-watering. Many of their poster designs and their images on Instagram focus on bright colors of foods and also very much the pictures of foods and also people enjoying the food. So that's this competitor. So these were the citations for the research portion. And moving on to my design brief. So we kind of talked about it a little bit about who the client was and what the mission statement was. But just to go over it again, so Chinatown Night Market, it's a project that is featuring a series of Asian foods, art, and music that's located in New York City Chinatown, and it's a community celebration that is a way for us to heal and be supportive of each other, especially after COVID-19. And so the target audience that this festival is meant to capture is the target audience of both the older Asian community as well as the younger generation, and trying to bridge that gap and help them connect with each other, especially within our community, because with all that's been happening because of COVID-19, it's really important that our community feels safe and we get sort of this space that we can connect with each other, bring unity, and be supportive of each other. And so the theme of the event is all about the community and healing and bringing support and connections with people of the same community, especially in times of hardship. So this is going to be the mood board that I put together when I was doing the design brief. And in our Chinese culture, we have associations of colors and meanings. And in this case, I did a little bit of research on what kind of colors I sort of spot around in Chinatown. And some colors that really stood out, and also their meaning as well, is that red is a symbol for good fortune, happiness, and success. Yellow symbolizes power and prosperity and also brings warmth and good faith. Green symbolizes health, patience, harmony, as well as fertility, and is a color of healing and health. Purple is the color of love. And I thought about how the theme of the Chinatown Night Market is about bringing communities together for happiness and love of our culture, and also to support each other. So I thought that these 4 colors and their meanings really are a way to represent the feelings that that this festival wants to bring. And so I sort of went with these 4 colors as my color schemes, and then you can also kind of see the colors in the pictures as well, in the imagery of Chinatown streets, storefronts, and foods as well. So that's the mood board. And I was also looking at typographic references. Chinatown stores and signage are really iconic for their unique and bold signage. And that's sort of what makes up the visuals of what is Manhattan Chinatown. Like when you see pictures of Manhattan Chinatown, you see all the signs and the bright, big, bold typography that's written on it. And I wanted to incorporate the style into the festival because as more and more like small businesses close, you sort of see the streets of New York City Chinatown like losing its charm. Everything is becoming more like more gentrified and more modern, and it's really sad to see the culture of New York City's Manhattan Chinatown just slowly start to disappear. So I wanted to really try to bring that style back into the festival, just to like have some sort of support and know that like there that as a community we support everyone and the small businesses as well. And so I wanted to bring this together with using the typography as references. So taking the mood board and the references, I did sort of a brief design language that I would use in my festival branding. So you can see like the typography would be like a rigid solid, stoles, and how they sort of mimic the typographic references where you got the big bold typography style on the signage, and also incorporating how really nice and clean and geometric it is, like a really straight lined geometric. And I also took a look at like think Chinatown's logo, so that's actually the company's logo, and then also the color palettes from before when I was doing my mood board. So this is kind of sort of the direction I want to go with for design language. And I did a few short sketches of like the festival materials. So this would be like an example of what the poster would look like with the typography and the colors, and also some imagery and what I would imagine would be to represent like the food portions of the festival. So this is a design that I did myself. And in terms of the festival environment, these are some pictures of the location of the Forsyth Plaza. As you can see, it's located right at the edge of the Manhattan Bridge, and right off the edge of the Manhattan Bridge. So you can see the cars sort of pulling out from the bridge. And this is actually where the festival does take place in the summer. And I thought it would be good to use this location again because, one, it's really like the heart of Chinatown. It's a big representation of locations that Chinatown is known for. Like when you think of Chinatown, you definitely know of the Manhattan Bridge area. And I feel like it's a good way to also keep it within the community because we want to create a safe space for our community. And this place actually has a history of being like a place where a lot of homeless they camp out here. And I wanted the location to sort of bring back a vibe of positivity to the community, and so I chose this as well. And I'm not exactly sure the reason why the company chose this, but I feel like that is a good reason to use backlist a festival environment. And then this is just like a storyboard going through like what a person would do during the festival. So it starts off with them seeing a flyer, the one that I created from before, about the festival, and then they go and visit Forsyth Plaza. And when they walk into the plaza, they'll see like a bunch of different stalls with foods, arts and crafts, and they're feeling a little bit hungry, so they exchange their money for in this case, in my sketch, it's egg waffles. If you guys know what egg waffles are, they are a staple of Hong Kong cuisine and desserts, sort of type of thing. So going back to the storyboard, after they get the food, they'll go to the stage performance area where they get to watch performances that are part of the Asian cultures. So that's the storyboard. And then sort of moving on to my ideas for the sketches for the interactive space. I have these general sketches and going into depth a little bit. The first idea was like the signage, the gateway for the market where you got the big bold typography, and and using the idea of a round brocade knot, because brocade knots represents unity and bright future with endless possibilities. And so I really wanted that to be a motif going on. So this is idea 1. Idea 2 is, if you guys are familiar, well, most people are familiar with like the love locks being locked on the bridges to represent internal love. And I wanted to create a system where people can create their own round brocade knot and tie it to promote their reunion, unity, and a bright future. Just to have like a sort of fun interactive space that people can take part in for this festival. Moving on to idea 3. So in Chinese culture, we have this thing where we sit at a round table and sharing foods is common, and it's an emphasis on unity. So I wanted to use this reputation of like having a round performance table, so that really everyone is coming together to watch this performance and getting to be able to connect with each other, and using it as a space when it is not for performance to converge and meet new people within the community. So that's the 3rd idea. 4th was looking at a little bit of how Doris Streets has mural painted on the roads that represent that are based off of Chinese culture and civilization. So one of the paintings is like talking about the dragon form to assert Chinatown as a district of both action and power, and I just wanted to incorporate that into the space because I felt that that's really important, that Chinatown is strong and will survive. So this is the prototype model of my space. You can see all 4 different, all 3. The brocade knot wall isn't in this, but you can see all 3 ideas in this prototype model. And then a little bit more on the visual branding. So these would be what the 2 logos would look like. So one is a horizontal logo with the full Chinatown Night Market out, and then the other one is a rounded logo, and the typography, same as before, still bold, and color palette as well. And then definitely doing the brocade knot to represent unity for the patterns and textures. And so these are examples of the marketing merchandise, so the banners, posters that I created myself. So there's 4 in this case, and you can see the representation of the brocade knots, the typography, and the really nice bright and bold color theme that sort of represents the whole theme of the festival. And then these are some of the designs in a photo montage. So the posters being on the street walls and also being on the flagpole banners as well. So these 2 are examples. In terms of souvenir designs, I decided to make a pun on the word walk. So it's a pun called. So the pun is, let's take a walk to Chinatown Night Market. Walk being WOK, as in the cooking walk. As like a fun little t-shirt design, and then also taking the logo, turning it into a badge pin that people can wear while they're at the festival or even after, and sort of have it like as a decoration piece. Also, like having their own design of a brocade knot to represent their unity and good fortune, good future. And then this is the t-shirt photo montage of people actually wearing the t-shirt, using the colors of the brand, so like the purple as the shirt and also like white as the background as well. So this is a brief mid presentation of what I have for this project so far. I'm happy to give this presentation a little bit about this festival, especially since this festival is quite a small festival, but still very meaningful to me as I am part of the Asian community. So thank you for listening, and so this is the end.